Laura Campbell. Again, I've been very good friends with them for a long time. Rusty and I go back to, I couldn't remember the year, but we determined 2002. So that's pretty cool. We've been friends for a really long time. We have a lot of mutual friends all over the globe, and that's really cool too. And then, of course, Laura, I've been friends with her for probably about the same amount of time, right? So it's really cool the work that they're doing, and they've been longtime missionaries. I joke that Laura is our African friend because she grew up in Africa. She grew up in Kenya and then came back to the United States for college. And then Rusty and Laura were missionaries in Japan. Then they came back. Then they went to, where was the next stop? Mississippi. Well, Mississippi. I almost was Rusty's replacement. I actually interviewed at a church that Rusty was preaching at. And then I ended up not taking the position. But then they went on to Portugal for 2 years to learn Portuguese on their way to Angola, and ended up changing course and wound up on a different continent. So they've been all over the world, literally, and I just commend missionaries. And a lot of us don't realize how difficult that work is. And their oldest son, Alex, he's a freshman at Harding University, and so they had to come back and transition him and integrate him back into American culture when he grew up in Ecuador. And so it's just a lot of challenges and things that we don't think about. We take a lot of things for granted. So anyway, I don't want to take up your time. I'm going to hand over I'd hand the mic over, but you guys have your own microphones. And we'll let you guys just present. So, Rusty and Laura. And by the way, if anybody needs the handouts, maybe raise your hand and I'll come around and I'll give you handouts. So we got you guys. Okay.
Yeah, good morning. Is this on? Okay, I can't hear it. I usually don't need it. So Jimmy is passing out or has a few handouts. I think there's some in the back also. One of those is just our newsletter, our recent newsletter. We put out a newsletter about once a quarter or so. And you can talk to Laura and get put on the mailing list, and that can get emailed to you every quarter if you're interested. There was another handout, the year in review. Did that happen? The year in review is just numbers, different things that have gone on at the camp this last year. How many kids we've worked with, how many people come to camp, how many baptisms, different things like that. There's a prayer card that has a picture of our family on it. We'd love for you to take that and put it on your fridge and say, keep us in your prayers. And then there's also a little brochure about the endowment fund. And we're going to talk about the endowment fund in a few minutes. But that's basically providing for the financial future of the ministry. And so we're going to talk about the ministry. Laura and I are going to share with you a small snippet. Is that the word? The thing, when you work overseas in a foreign language, a lot of times you forget your own language, So I forget a lot of words in English. So a small snippet of the work and the ministry that we do in Ecuador. And please ask questions. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Is there any way to maybe dim those lights up there so you can see the screen a little bit better? Thank you. As Jimmy said, we've been a part of the church here in Somerset for quite a long time, and so we've gotten to know several of you over the years, and we're excited to be here to share with you what God is doing in Ecuador. And so I have this on. Where do I point it? DP.
That's the volume.
Okay. That's the laser pointer.
Rusty's technological.
I'm learning to point towards DP. Okay, and then there we go. Hey, okay. So this is our family. Most of you know our family. We've got 4 kids, as Jimmy said. Our oldest son, Alex, he's the one with the mustache. He is a freshman at Harding University. He was born in Japan. and he is majoring in film and theological studies or something like that. Then Stephen there on the far right. Stephen is 16. Yeah, he's right here. Stephen is loves to play the piano. We've been doing the college tours with him, checking out different colleges and universities. He was born in Michigan. Benjamin, right next to Stephen. Benjamin's the one on the far left in the picture. He's 14, and he is wanting to learn how to play the bagpipes, which is pretty cool, I think. And he was born in Portugal. And then Elizabeth is down here. Elizabeth is our daughter. She's 11 years old. She was actually born in Ecuador, so she's our Ecuadorian. And we'll come back to our Ecuadorian child here in a little bit. But these are our kids. As Jimmy said, Laura was born and raised in Africa. I was born and raised in Oregon, which is, I know, a foreign country for many of you. It's a state on the far other side of the country. And we run Camp Bellevue. Camp Bellevue is not just a church camp. It is a church camp. Many of you have been to church camp. But Camp Bellevue is also a nonprofit organization. We do a lot of different things in the community with the churches there in Ecuador. And so it's not just camp. It's actually a nonprofit organization that we run. And it's been overseen primarily by the Bellevue Church of Christ in Bellevue, Washington for over 30 years.
Is this mic on? Yes? Yep. Okay. So we always like to start our presentations by making sure everyone knows that this is not what you're going to see in the presentation. We are not doing all of this by ourselves. So we have a staff that they work for the camp. They take care of the property. They help us take care of groups when they come. They run our after-school program. And so don't assume that what you see here is all the work of the two of us. We are very blessed to have a hardworking, dedicated group of people, and we believe in giving honor where honor is due. And these are the people that help make Camp Bellevue work and run and do all the things that we do. And then a smaller part of that staff picture that you just saw is our leadership team. So these 5, now 6 people are who make all the general decisions about the direction the camp is going to go. And we try never to make decisions just the two of us. We always involve our Ecuadorian brothers and sisters who help us administrate this camp and make everything happen. So the couple on the left is Guillermo and Cindy. Those of you that came down in 2019, you met them, you worked with them. Cindy's the director of our after-school program, and she works with all of our kids. And then Guillermo is an evangelist, and so he does a lot of Bible studies in the community with families. They do a lot of outreach with the kids that come to our after-school program. And the guy in the middle is Saber, and he is our accountant and general manager. So he makes sure that the camp is compliant with Ecuadorian law, taxes, bookkeeping, payroll, all those fun things that have to happen when you're running a small business or nonprofit. So we're very blessed to have those 3 working alongside us to help run the camp. And then the young lady on the left is Kendall Fike. She is, I'm not sure if, I think that the group that came down in 2019 came before Kendall. But Kendall has been coming to Ecuador for a week every summer for several years to help us with basketball camp. And several years ago, before the pandemic, she started talking about, what would it look like if I were to move down to Ecuador and work full-time with you? And so we were kind of exploring that. The pandemic happened, it derailed a lot of plans, but after things kind of settled down, she started the conversation again. And this past February, she actually did move to Ecuador, and now she lives at the camp, and she's working asuide us, and we're very excited that she's there. So she's been transitioning into life in Ecuador, so learning Spanish, buying a car, getting all of her paperwork in order, applying for her visa, those kinds of things. And so it's been kind of a process for her, but she's integrating into the life and ministry there, and we're super excited to have her as part of our team as well.
As Jimmy said, living and working overseas is complicated. You'd be surprised how many hours you spend in government offices just doing things like banking and getting a car titled and transferred into your name when you purchase a car. So all of our interns that come down are shocked. We thought we'd be doing more, teaching and preaching, and you actually spend a lot of time sitting in the government office. Way more than you do in the States, I promise.
So we have a threefold purpose, and the best way to illustrate this, I think, is through the idea of concentric circles. So that first smaller circle in the middle is our immediate community right around us. So our first purpose is to serve and bless the people of Tabacundo, the town where we are, and to serve them and to be a blessing to them and their families. The second circle on the outside is the local church, and not just the local church that we are a part of, but local churches of Christ all across Ecuador. We want to strengthen them. We want to build them up. We want to be a resource for them. And then the largest circle is the global church. We want to foster good relationships between U.S. partners. I should say North American partners, because we do have a couple of Canadian churches that also are a part of this ministry. So we want to foster those relationships and encourage a passion for missions with our North American brothers and sisters. So that is our purpose, our threefold or three circles of purpose for the camp, all for the glory of God.
We'll start with the center one, the blessing the community where we serve and work. There in Tabacundo, Ecuador, about an hour and a half northeast of Quito, the capital city. And so we're going to talk about how we do that right now with programs, after-school program for kids, medical clinics, construction projects, benevolence, evangelism. We do a lot of different things to try and make contact or make an impact in the community where we are. DP, I got to point towards DP.
So one of the biggest and most long-standing pillars of our outreach into the community in Tabacundo is our after-school care program. This has been running for over 25 years now, and it's kind of cool. We're actually serving like the second generation of kids in our program. Some of our kids have parents who attended our program years ago. So it's neat that we're able to see that happen. But this is a program that runs during the school year, September through June, Monday through Thursday afternoons, 2:30 to 5 every afternoon. And the kids come and they get, the transportation's provided to the camp, and then they have tutoring and help with their homework. They have a devotional time every day, so they're receiving stories, teaching about Jesus. They have snacks provided every day. We have a computer lab and a library. So if they need a computer for homework, they need the internet for some school assignment that they have to do, we have those tools available to them. And then we do occasionally plan special fun activities and events. So mostly centered around holidays. So we do a Halloween party. Have started doing a Halloween party, I should say, because Halloween didn't used to be a big deal in Ecuador. But over the last 5 years, we're just shocked at how much it's become the thing. And so we'll have a costume party, let the kids come dressed up. And we'll do something around Christmas time, of course. And we'll do something right before Lent begins. So the holiday right before Lent begins is Carnival. And that's just a time when everybody just goes crazy with water games and flower bombs and just all kinds of messy outdoor kinds of things. So we'll do a fun day for the kids where they can come and get wet and play in the... We
rented a foam cannon.
Play in the foam.
I don't know if you can get a foam cannon here, but it basically just shoots out a ton of foam. And, a mountain of foam. I thought we were going to find some dead kids down at the bottom of this but thankfully, they all survived. And what foam has to do with Easter, I don't really know. But that's one thing that we do. And then the Halloween costume party there's a couple of our boys there, one in the Garfield costume and one in the banana costume. And so they had a lot of fun with that. And the kids just would climb on them and want to get their pictures taken with them and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. Oh, DP. Oh, I went too far, I think. Go back. Are you able to move that, DP? I want to go backwards. There. Okay. And so we do try to reach the families in that send children to that program. And so we'll go and do home visits, especially if we have groups come down from the States. We like to put together food baskets and go and visit these families. That's what you see there on the right, is they're putting together food baskets. And then and we'll go visit different families. The picture up on the top left is a family that we've been working with for many years. They have 6 girls in the family. They live in a house about maybe 2/3 the size of the stage area up here. The one little girl, since she was 2 years old, has had to use ostomy bags, for those of you who know what that is. And when she was about 12, she had a stroke because she got some sort of infection that caused her to have a stroke. And so now she's 15 and she's paralyzed. I grew up with a father who had a stroke and was paralyzed, so that hit pretty close to home for me. We went into this home and we've helped them out in several different ways, including building a handicap accessible bathroom in the house. They didn't even have a bathroom in the house. So I don't even know where they were going to the bathroom, but they didn't have one in the house, and we put one in the house that was handicap accessible. And we've helped them in several other ways as well. And then the family down there at the bottom, the 2 kids, the little boy in the yellow shirt and the girl in the kind of the pinkish jacket, attend our after-school program. And their parents are the couple there with the lady with the white jacket and then the gentleman with the white jacket and the hat on. That's the couple. They attended the after-school program when they were kids. And then that gentleman's mom is a lady down there in the bottom corner. She had another son who was 16 years old who attended our after-school program when he was younger, and he was shot and killed in a car jacking incident here not too long ago. And so we've been ministering to this family. Guillermo and Cindy have been going into their home, held a Bible study. The family just invited a ton of people to this. There's 40 people there for this Bible study just from that one family. But we go in with a group from the States and we try to minister to this couple. Well, nobody really trains us how to work with people that have gone through a crisis situation like that. Even in seminary, we don't really get training for stuff like that. And so I encourage all these young people to have some sort of a Bible passage or a Bible story or something that's important to them that they could share with the family. And of course, a couple 14-year-old kids, they're clueless. They don't know. We went in there and I asked them, "You got something to share?" And they said, "No." And that's fine. I don't pressure them to do it. I encourage them to. Well, we went around the circle and all the other people shared, but by the time we got around the circle, came back to those 2 14-year-old boys, they both had something to share. And it was incredible. They both shared, they hit a home run. It was just incredible to see these young men kind of step up and actually minister, and step out of their comfort zone to encourage this family. All right, let's see if that works now. Nope. Yep, sort of.
What'd you do, Rusty?
I don't know what I did. It's like blurry between slides. So we do a medical clinic. If I touch this, okay. Can you go back? Good, okay. And then one more. I'm going to set this down. It's not me, I promise. Okay, so we do medical clinics, and we have a team from Harding University come down, or we've had a team from Harding University come down for the last several years. A lot of them speak Spanish. There's usually a medical professional, like a nurse practitioner in the group, maybe a nursing student, and then we have another doctor from the States come down. Sometimes we'll get Ecuadorian doctors to help us, and we use this as a way to reach out into our community and bless our community. And we'll involve people. This guy there in the bottom, in the middle, doing the blood pressure, he's a Bible major at Harding. He's actually going to intern for us this next summer. But he's not a medical professional. And we're involving him. And so we can involve people in this even if they aren't medical professionals and they don't speak Spanish. All right, next slide. Well, there it cleared up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then another thing that we do, especially when we have U.S. teams come in, is VBS. So I don't feel like this one needs a lot of explanation. You guys all know what VBS is. You know, it's the same thing in Ecuador. It's just in Spanish. So, you know, we'll bring the kids in for a morning. They'll have a Bible lesson and then some kind of fun games, fun crafts that go along with that Bible lesson. And it's a great way to involve U.S. teams because, like I said, everybody knows what VBS is and how it generally runs. And a lot of times we'll have teams come in, recycle an old VBS curriculum maybe that their church had purchased a couple of years prior, or sometimes they actually purchase one in Spanish and bring it in. But it's just a fun time. And some of our programs we do just for the kids in our after-school program, but other times we'll open it up and advertise out in the community, and we'll have 150 kids show up to our VBS programs. That was one of the things that your group did, Jimmy, when you guys came down, was the VBS program at the camp.
Next slide, please. So the second circle that Laura mentioned a few minutes ago was working on blessing, serving the churches of Christ there in Ecuador. And we do that in a lot of different ways. You know, we are the church camp in Ecuador for Churches of Christ. And so churches send their kids to kids camp, to youth camp. We do host a lot of retreats and conferences at our facilities. We will do some of these programs that we just mentioned, the medical clinics, the vacation Bible schools. Sometimes we'll go off site to some of the area churches and we'll host it at one of the churches to let them take advantage of the opportunity to reach their community. And so they'll invite people in from their community, and they're the ones doing the outreach, follow up with Bible studies and things like that in their community. And we'll do some leadership training and team dynamic stuff. Go ahead to the next slide, please.
He's on the next one. He's on the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is our local church. This is the Tabacundo Church of Christ. When teams come, this is the church that they attend with us. It's right down the hill from the camp, and this is where we are most Sundays. We do visit other churches, but this is our home congregation in Ecuador. The couple on the top right corner is Julio and Carmen. They've been working with the church in Tabacundo now for about 2 years. They are Cindy's parents, and it's been a real blessing to have an older couple. Julio's been in ministry for about 50 years now. And so it's really great to have an older couple with a lot of experience there providing some stability for that congregation. We are about 60 people on a Sunday, so more or less the size of this church. When there's food, the number can grow to like 80 people. So
or more. All right, next slide. And as I mentioned a minute ago, we'll go off-site and work with other churches. This picture on the left is actually, that's a funky picture. Or did you add a picture?
I added a picture.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Picture.
Okay. So the picture on the left is we were invited to go to a church and do a medical clinic, and then they asked us to come and do worship service for them that following Sunday. So we took the students from Harding University, and they, you know, the girls taught kids classes and the teen class, and the guys, one of them led singing in Spanish. I'd like to encourage some of you all to think about leading songs in Spanish sometime. They did all the prayers, the Lord's Supper talk, and that kind of thing. And then the picture of that gentleman there that I'm praying with, he's actually a Spanish professor at Harding University, and so he did Bible class that morning, and then I was asked to preach. It was a great time, but that connection of going there with a medical clinic so they can serve their community, and then we can go and also encourage that church was special. And then the picture on the right, the two pictures on the right is from the Cayambe Church, which is 15-20 minutes from us. They often invite us to come. They asked Laura to teach a women's class. Well, they'll split us up. The women will go in one place, and the men will go in another place. And so she'll teach a ladies' class. I'll teach the men's class, and then to come back together for worship, and then I get to preach. And so that's a kind of a special connection with that church for a lot of different reasons. Next slide.
So Camp Bellevue is a part of an organization called Operation Ecuador. It's basically an umbrella or family of ministries And it includes the camp. It includes a Bible college in Quito called the ECEB, which stands for Escuela Quiteña de Estudios Bíblicos, or in English, the Quito School of Biblical Studies. And then it also, the organization, the umbrella organization also includes any church planting teams that form out of the graduates of that Bible college and go off to plant churches in other cities. And it also includes a jungle ministry in northwest Ecuador. We try to partner and collaborate as the camp with these other ministries, and one way we do that is by receiving interns from the ECEB for their summer, what do they call it? Practical ministry experience. So they'll come to the camp, they'll spend the summer with us, and so these two young men over there are the interns we had last summer. They were both from Cuba, and we found it a little hard to understand them. And then the picture on the right is Rusty's class. Occasionally, Rusty will teach a class at the ECEB, and his focus is on teamwork and how we work together as teams. He'll do a lot of work with personality styles and team dynamics and things like that, because he believes if you can learn to work together better, then things will go a lot smoother as you're going out and doing the work of planting a new church.
If you understand who God made you to be, you're better able to understand who God has made other people to be. And once you have that information, you're able to eliminate a lot of the conflict and problems that we have between us sometimes. And then it also gives you tools to resolve conflicts a little bit better. Okay? And conflict is not always a bad thing. Conflict can be a good thing. So okay, that's a whole nother lesson for another time. Next slide, please.
Another way that we partner with the ECEB is through the Women in Ministry Retreat, which we've been doing for over 5 years now. Of course, we took a break during the pandemic, but this is a retreat that myself and my sister, who's also a missionary in Ecuador, and a couple of women connected to the Bible College, decided that we needed a way to serve women who are serving. So this is evangelists' wives, ministers' wives, women that work in children's ministry or youth ministry in their churches, elders' wives. And so we created a retreat specifically for these women so they can come. We have it at the camp, and they can be fed spiritually. They can spend time with the Lord. They can focus on their own relationship with God. These are the women that pretty much do everything behind the scenes in the churches. And so we saw that there was a need for them to have something just for them that they didn't have to plan, that they didn't have to organize, where they could just come and receive. And so it's been a real blessing, I think, to the women that we serve, and it's one of my favorite things that we do every year.
Probably the most underserved group in the church are the women that are serving in ministry in some way. And probably that's true here too, I would imagine. All right. And then Laura's teaching, what were you teaching there? The spiritual disciplines or something like that?
Spiritual disciplines was our theme last year.
So I believe we can use anything to teach the gospel, including basketball. How about that? First year we did basketball camp. We had one baptism, I think. And then over the years we've had several baptisms. This last summer we had 2 baptisms at basketball camp. I attended a Christian basketball camp in high school. And when we moved out to Camp Bellevue, I was like, let's do basketball camp, so it was super exciting to kind of get that program going. It's been going now for several years. A couple of years ago, there were 9 baptisms in basketball camp. You see that gentleman there up on the top right, the Afro-Ecuadorian man, the black man there. He is just a little taller than me. His muscles tend to be more in this area. My muscles are in other areas. He is now a brother in Christ. He is perhaps the most well-known name in Ecuadorian basketball, was a professional basketball player for the Ecuadorian national team. And Guillermo, our co-worker, invited him to come and help us with basketball camp. And Guillermo baptized him a couple years ago. And so we're excited to have him as literally part of our team, right? He's been a huge blessing to partner with in basketball camp. Next slide.
This past year, we did offer a couple of day camps, and we hope to do more of this in the future. We had 2 teams from the States that came the same week, and so we were able to offer 2 tracks. We had one for kids, which was kind of like a glorified VBS. So it was VBS in the morning, lunch, and then afternoon sports and art and other activities. And then the teens did their own track, which was conversational English with another team from the U.S. So it was a great blessing to the kids in our immediate area. We're able to keep the costs lower for them when we can do a day camp. So.
You all have immigrants in this area, I'm assuming. If you're familiar with the Let's Start Talking ministry, they will do, one of their programs is called Friends Speak, where people will come to your church and you can have English Bible studies with them because they want to practice English. So a lot of churches around the country are doing this. It'd be a great, I think, ministry for Somerset if you're interested in doing that. Talk to Jimmy. I'm sure he could talk to us. We could get you in touch with Let's Start Talking. We have a Let's Start Talking team almost every year come down and help us with English camp. So we're excited to have them. We can use English to teach the gospel. How about that? Okay, next slide.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. The camp's capacity is 200, and this group, which is Youth Bible Camp, they've been coming, it's a team from Fort Walton Beach, Florida that puts it on. They've been coming for over 25 years now to the camp to put on this Youth Bible Camp, and they stretch us, they stretch our capacity in more ways than one. I think our final count this year was 207 people, that's campers and staff. And then, of course, we had to add in all of our kitchen and other helpers. But it's a great week. They had, I believe, 17 baptisms at camp this year. And then the Sunday following camp, 2 more kids were baptized. And then I think they also baptized a translator and her fiance.
Was it a Christian?
Yeah.
How about that?
So yeah, always a great week with them.
Next slide, please.
And then kids camp. So this is a camp that serves the younger age set, so 8 to 12-year-olds. And this last year we did a dinosaur theme. You can use dinosaurs to teach the gospel. It was a lot of fun. We had a great week together. The goofy guy on the purple dinosaur may look a little familiar, but his name is not Rusty. It is Oxidado. And oxidado is how you say in Spanish oxidized or rusty. And so the children in Ecuador know Rusty as Oxidado. He's the goofy, crazy guy that comes out at the end. He comes to the campfire every night. He recaps the daily theme, but he does it in a very silly, memorable way. So it's actually a little ridiculous.
Soy Oxidado, su cazador de dinosaurios, mate. I tried to speak Spanish with an Australian accent, and that's kind of hard to do. I can't even do that in English. So I was Oxidado, the dinosaur hunter, mate. And
we had a record attendance this year. I planned for 72 kids, not thinking we would get anywhere close to that, and we enrolled 73 campers. So It was our record since we started doing this.
All right, next slide. Yeah, we can tell you some good stories about Oxidado. I think Oxidado needs a partner. So
a sidekick. And then Operation Ecuador, which we mentioned earlier, celebrated in 2024 35 years of being in Ecuador and doing ministry in Ecuador. And we had a epic celebration. We always have a summit every year, but it's usually hosted by a church in the U.S., and it's a time for supporters to come together and hear about all the things that are going on with the different ministries in the Operation Ecuador family. But last year, because it was the 35th anniversary, we decided to have the summit in Ecuador. So U.S. supporters actually came to Ecuador. They spent the weekend. We took them around. They saw the different ministries firsthand. They did some shopping. They did some sightseeing. And then on Sunday, the last day, we had Culto Unido, a united worship at the camp. And we invited any church from all over Ecuador to send delegates to the camp. I think we had more people at the camp that day than we've ever had in its history. I think we clocked in at just under 1,400 people. And it was a beautiful day, having that many people worshiping together. We've all been, I think, and experienced a united worship service of some sort here in the States. But for many of our Ecuadorian brothers and sisters, this was the first time for them to be with that many people at one time. And we had people coming to us afterwards just in tears. This was so beautiful. Can we do this again? They were just so touched by having this big family all together in one place. So it was a very special time.
We did not feed 1,400 people. We actually catered that meal out. That was beyond our capacity to do.
I'm not Superwoman.
Yeah. All right, next slide. Speaking of Superwoman and feeding people, feeding 200 people is a lot of work. And so this picture on the left is the kitchen team preparing meals for that camp week of over 200 people. And a lot of these people in that picture are actually on staff full time. Some of them are volunteers for the week. Some of them are extra hired hands that we hired that week to help us, because it's a lot of work to prepare meals for over 200 people. And one thing Laura tells her staff is it's really important to feed people physically. It's really hard for people to get fed spiritually if they're hungry physically, right? And so it's an important part of the ministry. That's the week that, they had 17 baptisms. And so we do feel like this is an important part of what we do also, is helping to feed them physically. And even that guy down there in the middle picture in the blue, he's our maintenance guy. But he has his own restaurant down in town. So in the evenings and the weekends, he's got his own little restaurant where they grill meat. And so when we're preparing meals for over 200 people, we get him in there, and he's grilling meat out there, and he's got his own toque, his own sabor, his own seasoning, and he puts it on the meat that week. It's really good. It's really good. So, but we get a lot of people involved that week. Next slide, please.
All right, and finally, we'll talk a little bit. I know we're almost out of time, but we'll briefly touch on how we encourage and foster relationships between U.S. sponsors and supporters, which is you guys and many other churches that support the work of the camp in Ecuador. So we do this in various ways: hosting groups, serving the community through those groups, missionary training, missionary care. All of those kinds of things are part of this circle. These are just a few of the teams that we had come down from the U.S. this last year. There were too many teams for everyone to have a picture, but we had teams from Texas, we had a team from Oklahoma, we had a team from Oregon for the first time this year, which was really exciting for Rusty. We always have the team from Florida, as I mentioned, that comes and helps us with camp. So we receive teams from all over. Somerset did come down, I guess it was 6 years ago now, which is crazy to think it was that long ago. So anytime you guys are ready to come back, we'd love to have a team from Somerset again, or you guys can join in with another group and come back to Ecuador.
Next slide, please.
And then we do partner with the Brazilian sister program to AIM, Adventures in Missions, which some of you may be familiar with. It's kind of like a gap year program for kids that have graduated high school. This program is in Brazil. They receive kids that learn about missions for about 9 months, and then they go out to different points and they serve as interns for a year. And so we have received 2 teams so far, one in 2022 and one in 2024. And we believe very strongly in training the next generation for missions, because we're not going to do this forever, and there will be people coming along behind us that are going to go into missions. And so we believe that is part of how we can serve, is to invest in the next generation.
Next slide, please. One of the benefits of getting to do this work is our kids are there with us, and sometimes they get involved. They're not the missionaries, we're the missionaries, but sometimes they do get involved, and we encourage our kids, just like you do, to serve and get involved. Alex, our oldest, helped to plan and organize a street basketball tournament, and there was teams that came from all over the country to participate in that. And so that's what you see there, him holding the trophy from that tournament. And then Stephen, the poor guy, we showed up at church one Sunday, and it was the day that the youth were supposed to lead worship service. And nobody told us that Stephen was supposed to be speaking that morning. And so we missed the memo.
This happens a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
We're always the last to know.
The foreigners, the gringos, are always the last to know, just FYI. So anyway, so we get to church. Stephen, are you ready for what? For speaking? Well, the poor kid, the only thing I had in my Bible was a sermon that her dad had preached several months before. I said, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'll step up and I'll do something. It's not fair that you have to do this, but if you want, here's this lesson that your grandfather preached. This kid got up there, and I'm very proud of him. He did it on the spot, translated from English to Spanish on the spot, and did a fabulous job. And so, his grammar is probably better than mine in Spanish, honestly. I was giving him some help with some vocabulary words. And then Benjamin got involved with kids camp, helping out his mother. And he loves. You can see that he loves those hula hoops. I don't really know what he's doing with the hula hoops, but he was carrying the hula hoops. But I think it's funny he's got just as many bracelets on his wrist as he's got hula hoops around him. And then Elizabeth, our daughter, sometimes she likes to get down. Benjamin, I love you, son. Elizabeth likes to get down and help Mama in the kitchen sometimes. Elizabeth is our Ecuadorian child. She loves her chicken feet soup. So I don't know how many of you like chicken feet soup, but Elizabeth loves chicken feet soup. So whenever there's chicken feet in our soup, there you go, honey. You enjoy. So, but it's a blessing to be able to be there with our children as well. Next slide, please. And then these are the different churches that support us and the camp. Some of these support just our family. Some of these support just the camp. Some of them support both. Somerset is on the family side. Down there on the left, and then we have some churches in both columns and several individuals that support us as well. Next slide. And we have several different funding opportunities that we've been traveling around the States trying to raise support for. The camp needs more money on a monthly basis. Our family, we're trying to raise a little extra support for our family. Camp vehicle, we have a playground for kids that's deteriorating. And we need to replace that before something falls on some kid's head. We don't want to have that responsibility in our hands. And so if you have any questions about any of that, please don't hesitate to ask. And then next slide.
And then we just want to briefly mention this. We have started raising money for an endowment fund. We 2 years ago incorporated as a nonprofit here in the U.S., a 501c3. So for the purpose of raising money, and the endowment fund is meant to provide for the long-term financial stability of the camp into the future. I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, we're not going to do this forever. Even churches that support us, and as you guys have for a long time, churches sometimes reach a point where they can't support the work anymore. We want to create an income stream that is not dependent on the support of any one U.S. congregation. And so that was the purpose of this endowment fund. When I explain it to people, I say, we are raising money for Camp Bellevue today, and then the endowment fund, and there's the couple in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, that organizes the big youth camp every year. They're spearheading this fundraising for the endowment fund, which I tell people is fundraising for Camp Bellevue tomorrow. So if you're interested in finding out more, there are brochures in the back that say Camp Bellevue Endowment Fund on the front, and you can read those to find out about this. You can contact Ricardo Morales for more information, but we do encourage you to think about legacy. Leaving a legacy is how I describe it to people. How can we leave a legacy for the camp into the next generations and beyond?
Next slide. We hope you've heard some encouraging things. This is a great ministry. This isn't what Laura and Rusty do. This is what God is doing, and we just happen to be along for the ride and are instruments in what He is doing there. And it's
a work that you all are a part of and
That's
have
right.
been a part of for many years. So as we travel and report to people, we want to make sure that you guys know and hear from us. We are thankful for the support that you provide, because none of this would be possible without people behind us supporting us and supporting the ministry financially. So you guys are as much a part of this as we are, as our staff is. You've supported us faithfully for many years, and we just want you to know that we are grateful for that and for our relationship.
This is a picture of Mount Cayambe, 19,000-foot volcano just right across the valley from us. It's a picture almost from our dining room. And I'm reminded of the passage in Psalm 121, I believe, verse 1. I look into the hills, and where does my strength comes from? My strength comes from the Lord. And so when I look up to the mountains, and when I look at the church here in Somerset, and other churches, I'm reminded that my strength comes from the Lord and our help comes from the Lord, and that includes you all. So thank you for your prayers and your support for many years, and we look forward to partnering with you some more in the future. If you have any questions, we can take a second or two if there's any questions, I think. And if not, just catch us afterwards, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. So, any questions real fast? Okay.
I guess I'll ask my annual question. There we go. So I ask this question every time, I think, but how do we best support you guys? Because I know missionary work, ministry in general is very, very difficult. And you guys see and feel things that nobody else, even your own staff, doesn't see. You guys typically will get the brunt of every problem, every issue, every heartache, every joy. Like, you guys are the first ones to hear everything. So how do we best support you guys as a family?
Just keep praying for us. You know, on a weekly basis. We always enjoy getting a email or a card or something like that saying, "Hey, we're praying for you." You know, the financial aspect is challenging, and we can't do this without the financial resources. But a lot of missionaries will tell you, we can find the finances. What we have a hard time finding are people that are praying for us and supporting us on an emotional level. And just to know that we're not forgotten about, that people are thinking about us. And that is always important. Thinking about our children. You know, I can't remember, it's been a long time since we've had a church like send cards to our kids for their birthdays and different things like that, you know. And that's, you know, the normal things that you would do here for the kids in your church, you know, our kids don't get those kinds of things, you know. So how are you supporting, encouraging, uplifting the children in your community? Well, think about, you know, the Campbell family or any other missionaries that you're involved with, and how you can also encourage them in those same ways.
I think I would also say just follow along. Like, keep up with what's going on. We put out the newsletter. You can receive those by email if you want. You can always pick up a paper copy here. But read them, know what's going on. Both Rusty and I are on Facebook. You can follow us there. We have a family page called the Campbell Family in Ecuador that you can follow along for prayer needs and just updates. And then the camp has a page, Camp Bellevue. You can look us up there. But just following along and kind of knowing what's going on and praying for us, I think, are the best ways that you guys can support us, other than the financial part. But yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, anything else? Oh, we'll be around for a while. We're happy to visit with you, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you,
God bless.
everyone.